Happy April, everybody. Welcome to Looking Up. This is a podcast for Christian women. I'm Kathy Pollard, and with me is Carla Moore. We're your hosts, and we're excited on this beautiful spring day. I can see the sun is shining where you are. The sun is shining where I am. We're just going to have a good time today and maybe probably talk about a little bit of nonsense. We're just going to chit-chat and in the very best sort of way.
Mm-hmm. Valuable nonsense.
When this airs, it'll be April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so hard to believe already coming into April and coming into my favorite time of year with everything growing and springy and all the beautiful things. So I'm excited about chatting with you. And I did want to ask you, why is everyone so tired on April 1st?
Is this a joke? I don't know. Why is everyone so tired on April 1st?
Because we just finished a 31-day march.
Sounds like a dad joke.
Okay, what about why don't eggs pull April Fool's pranks?
Why?
Because they're afraid they might crack each other up.
All right, that one's okay. Good job.
Maybe I should just move on from that.
I would have practiced my laugh if I'd known you were going to tell jokes.
Oh, made it sound more sincere.
Yeah,
not a courtesy laugh. Yeah. Sound like you think it's really funny.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I'm here. John's here, and you know how we have this thing where we don't like our husbands to be here. And you and I've been talking for an hour now, and John was completely silent, and now he's on the phone. I can hear him loud. Can you hear him?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
And then. Speaking of here, you're back in Dripping Springs, Texas.
Yeah, we're back.
Finally, you just got home last night, in fact, right? So glad you made it home safely. And I like it. When we're on the same time zone.
Yeah, because we don't have to do any math. The last month that we've been doing, well, I mean, we didn't record when we were gone. You and I didn't record when we were gone, but the math was crazy because for some reason, Turkey was 10 hours ahead of, I may have this a little bit wrong, but Turkey was 10 hours ahead of Central Standard Time here in the States. But Athens was only 8 hours ahead. But when daylight savings happened here in the States, then that messed things up again, because then we had gone from Turkey to Greece. And to me, it would have been the other way around. Like, I know I'm confusing you because I'm completely confused. I felt like Athens should have been 10 hours because it's further east. But the whole time, you're trying to figure out what time, can I call my kid for whatever, but what time is it there? And you're doing, okay, 2 p.m. means that it's 2 a.m. minus 2 hours. Anyway, it was ridiculous, crazy. So I'm just glad to be on the same time zone as my children and you and my mom.
When I wanted to text you, I'd be thinking, is she in bed right now? What's going on? Is it nighttime over there?
I have no idea.
Where in the world is Carla Moore?
Yeah. And I got to thinking last night, I was like, we got to finally get in our own bed. And I started counting. Yeah. We were in 15 different beds in 25 days.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Oh, no.
Not
that
fun.
Sounds terrible. Before I forget, go ahead, finish your.
Well, I don't want to, I'm not complaining. It was just one of those things where like 15 different, and that's counting 2 airplane beds,
Yeah.
So
gnarly.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Before I forget, I wanted to say that we are going to share a fun announcement on this episode at some point.
Yeah. So stay to the end. Don't fast forward to the end. In fact, if you fast forward to the end, we're not going to tell you.
That's right. Have you been thrifting since you've been back?
I actually.
It's last night.
It's last night. I actually told John, we were on our way back to Texas from Colorado, and I said, John, I haven't been in a thrift store in over a month. And he looked at me.
Starting to have withdrawals, weren't you?
He said, well, I'm just really proud of you for being sober for 28 days.
Oh no.
So no, I have not been thrifting. I'm like twitching because I want to, but I just haven't had any time to do it.
So if that tick shows up every now and then,
that's why, because I need to thrift something somewhere. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll get a chance sometime this week.
I hope so.
Find something good to talk about next time, okay?
I don't need anything else, but it's just fun to go.
Well,
What's going on in your
I
neck of
have
the woods?
some really neat news.
Okay.
Neil, I'm just going to share this very briefly, but Neil has been studying with this gentleman for 2.5 years every single week, and he got baptized this week
That's wonderful.
after 2.5 years. So I just think that's remarkable. Talk about not giving up on somebody. As if they're willing to keep studying, just not giving up, because the power's in the word and you never know. So
right. Well, and you told me about this a little bit ago, and I'm just thinking about Neil not giving up and not wanting to back away from it, because sometimes, like we were talking about, how you feel like maybe they're not interested really, but then you just keep at it and allow God to work on people's hearts instead of putting the power in ourselves, and it really makes a difference.
Well, and I'm happy for him, of course, but I just think about, if we have family members or loved ones that we've been worried about for any length of time, and it could be a situation where they've never obeyed the gospel. It could be a situation where they've fallen away and we feel like their hearts aren't receptive. It's just such a good reminder not to give up. Place them in, do what you can, place them in God's hands, but you just never know. As long as time stands, there's still opportunity. So.
We all have had quite a number of baptisms recently, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Yeah, it's been so wonderful. And well, it's funny that you brought that up, because I just saw they keep information for the office and stuff. We've had 10 baptisms already this year, and the neat thing is they all haven't been done by the preachers. And so it's just encouraging to see all the hands going to work in soul winning.
That's great. Happy news.
Very happy news.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on in your world.
Aside from 15 beds in 25 days. Well, we are back in, like you mentioned, we're back in Texas. So we left Colorado on Friday. We're recording. This is Thursday, right? So we left Colorado last Friday. We went to Oklahoma. We went to Elk City and stayed with Brad and Glenda Winery. I know that y'all have stayed there before too.
Yes, they're so
and
sweet.
She had 3 calves born. 2 of them were born, I think, the day before we got there. But then on Sunday when we went to worship, she said, on the way, she said, I hope I have a new baby when we get back. And sure enough, there was a brand new little baby calf, little pink nose. I don't know. I don't know why I noticed the little calf had such a pink nose, but I guess does Peaches have a pink nose? Brown nose? Anyway, I just always think of a cow as having like a dirty, not necessarily dirty, but a dirty color nose. And this little calf was bright pink. He had a white spot on his forehead and was still like wobbling around when we saw him.
Oh,
his little back legs were just shaking, and he was trying. It was so cute because he was trying to nurse, and he kept, butting his head up against like her front legs. And I was with Glenda in the truck, and we kept watching, and he, I can't remember if it's a little girl calf or a little boy, but I'll say he kept butting up against the wrong spots, and we were going just a little further back, keep trying. He never did find it.
Cold. Oh,
yeah. Well, he didn't find it when we were watching, but Glenda said he obviously already had, because of some reason. I can't remember if she knew that the cow had already nursed the baby, but I guess he forgot where to find the faucet because he couldn't find it when we were watching it. That was so cute. Anyway, that was this weekend. John did a seminar in Burns Flat, Oklahoma, which is real close to Elk City. And then we went from there on Monday morning to Fort Worth to see Jake and Liz and Turner and Darcy. I hadn't seen them since just right after Christmas. I think we stopped there on our way to Colorado. And of course, Darcy has changed so much because she was only like, I don't know, 8 weeks old when we saw her. Now she's almost 5 months old. So she was a lot of fun, and Turner's it was fun. So then we left there yesterday and got home here yesterday evening and unpacked, and you can only see this right here. But if you could see all of this, everything is unpacked. Everything is taken out of the boxes, but not everything is put away.
Yeah.
So that's going to take me a little while. And, since we were coming back for a longer length of time, this time I brought more of it home with me. And we still have a full room full of stuff in Denver that we'll have to get later. But so I brought back kitchen things that I really didn't need. It's like combining 2 kitchens into one now. So I need to weed through and kind of figure out what I want to keep and if I'm going to take it back to them. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I just have too much stuff. And we had talked not long ago about we got rid of a lot of things, and now I feel like it's all filling back up again, and I don't like that. I don't like that feeling.
So easy for that to happen.
Yeah, it really is. So that's kind of where we are. We're home for another. We have a family fishing trip next weekend that we've been doing every year for the past few years, and then we have Focal Point, which is coming up in San Marcos, Texas, April the 14th through the 18th. So if anybody is close by, we'd love to have you for that. It's like it started out as a preacher's workshop, and Wayne Jones started it. But again, it's open to anyone, and it's got some really good lessons and topics, and it would be good. And then from there, we're going to come y'all's way. Looking forward to Equipped. Why don't you talk about Equipped?
Well, yeah, it'll be here, and by the time this airs, less than 3 weeks, and everybody's getting real excited and getting things set up. And we have food trucks. We'll have a little bookstore. We're going to have a singing workshop, a teaching workshop, lots of sessions, and then of course you and I are doing our podcast episode live at the workshop. So lots of other lady speakers too, and then there's sessions for young people. So it should be good.
I know I always ask you about the food trucks, but I'm just curious which ones are going to be there this year besides Jeremy's barbecue.
I don't know.
Well, find out. You're supposed to find out and tell me.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
Food trucks.
This is something I need to know.
This is what matters right
it's
here.
It's all about food,
Which food trucks, yeah. I'm sure they'll be fantastic.
I'm sure they will. Speaking of food, just a frequent topic. I heard, I guess it was Glenda, maybe it was Brad, that told us that his mom she made cornbread in a waffle iron. Have you ever done that?
No, I've seen that done, but I've never
seen it.
People do that, and then they'll top it with chili and cheese.
Genius.
Yeah.
And I don't have a waffle iron. Oh. Yeah. So now I'm thinking, would it be like a Belgian waffle where you make it really thick and with the deep holes, or just a regular waffle? But you could put that I'm thinking you can make it with chili, like you said, chili, but stew and other things like that. So,
yeah,
I thought that was a fantastic idea.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, that would hold the butter.
Oh, yeah.
We always go back to food, don't we?
We do. I actually have foodie things to talk about because I was going to, when Neil travels, if he's ever near an interesting chocolate shop, he'll usually bring some back. And he was told about this chocolate shop called the Cordial Cherry. Excuse me. Look at this cute little box.
Oh, that is cute.
And then the whole thing was wrapped. It took me forever to get into this box because the whole thing was wrapped in bubble wrap. And I was like, good grief, they're really making it hard to get into. And then it had this little, sealed paper opening on the inside there. But look, they're themed chocolates. Can you see that?
It's like a beehive.
Yes, these are honey themed. It's a beehive, a bumblebee, a couple of flowers. Aren't they adorable?
That is so cute.
They are really too cute to eat, so I haven't even eaten them yet. But look how cute.
Is it white chocolate?
I don't know what that is. I haven't eaten any of them.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to eat it.
Neil's been saying, have you tried one yet? Have you tried one yet? And I'm like, no.
Did he eat any when he was there?
I don't think so. I think it just bought that for me. So
that's sweet.
It's very sweet. But the other foodie things I was going to share with you is a couple of things involving Lehman Avenue ladies. So this Friday, I'm having my mom and Ray over and Bud and Christy over for dinner. And I'm making a recipe that Kelly Nix told me about. And it's very intriguing sounding. And she said that it's good. And everybody that has made it says it's good. And like people always ask him for the recipe. So it's, I forget what it's called, pinto bean cornbread casserole or something like that. But it's basically a couple of cans of pinto beans drained and rotel tomatoes and cream of mushroom soup and cheese. Oh, sausage, ground brown sausage.
Okay.
Maybe some onions. I can't remember. But anyway, you mix all that stuff together, spread it in your 13 by 9-inch pan, and then you make a package of Jiffy cornbread.
The
mix.
sweet cornbread.
Yeah, but you thin it out a little bit thinner than usual and pour that on top and bake it.
Oh,
and
that
she said
yummy.
that she likes to put jalapenos in the cornbread topping and bake it. So I'm going to try that Friday when everybody comes over. And then, so Sunday's Easter. Are you guys eating at your house or do you have plans at somebody else's house? What are y'all doing?
We're going to go to Courtney's parents' house.
Oh.
So we get to see Livy. Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun.
They're sweet enough to invite us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
actually
so nice.
I don't know if they know that we're coming. Courtney invited us. So maybe I need to check with Lori.
We're looking forward to being there. Can we bring anything?
Yeah. Oh, you're coming?
Oh. Well, so the kids are coming over.
Okay.
And I was talking to Joyce Johnson last night. We had plenty of time to chat because we were the last ones there and both of our husbands were meeting together. So you know how that goes.
Yep.
When you're waiting around in the foyer for your husband.
Yeah, you get to know the other women really well.
Yeah. So we were talking and I was telling her that, we have such a busy weekend. Normally for Easter dinner, I like to make things ahead of time, but I didn't know when I was going to be able to do that. And so anyway, she ended up giving me like the best recipe ideas. She gave me a recipe for an easy ham in the crock pot with a glaze sounds really yummy. And then make ahead mashed potatoes that you keep in the refrigerator. And you can keep it in the refrigerator for 2 weeks. So like you can make a big batch and just pull out what you want over the next 2 weeks. But so I could make it today, and then pull it out on Easter and you just dot it with butter and bake it. But it's got cream cheese and sour cream and all that kind of stuff in it.
Ooh, yeah.
And so we were talking about all this stuff. And then on the way home, I must have sounded really pathetic because she texted me that she would be happy to make either a gooey cake or an orange cake for our Easter dinner.
Oh, sweet.
She is famous for her orange cake. That was one of the first things we heard about when we moved here. And so I get this text and I'm going, I know I should say no. I should say, oh, that's so sweet. But of course no, we'll be fine. I was like, oh, I would love that so much.
Yeah. And then you put it behind, as my mother used to say, behind the door and save it. And just
that's right. Don't actually share it with company. Yeah, but wasn't that the sweetest thing?
That is so sweet.
Like 2 meals that I'm having this weekend with company are thanks to dear friends from church, Kelly Nix, Joyce Johnson, and I just love that. So
that makes me think of the Jan Karen books, or Esther Bollock's Orange Marmalade Cake. Are you still reading those?
Well, I've kind of put it on pause. I'm at number 7, I think, or 8, 7 or 8. But I'm kind of getting this feeling of if I finish the series, I'm finished with the series.
There's quite a few more, though. I'm trying to think. There's at least 10.
Maybe I know, 11? But I just want to be done with it. So I read something else instead. I'm like, I'll read that next one later. I'm like dragging it out. So.
Yeah, I love those books. They're so fun.
They are so good. They're so good.
Alyssa made a new recipe. I don't know if it was new to her, but it was new to us when we were there. That was, they were just called chicken tacos. I think just chicken tacos, but they were made with green chilies. So it had like verde salsa and chicken, rotisserie chicken, and Monterey Jack cheese, and cilantro, and probably some cream cheese. And then and I'm sure some other things, but she put them inside a hard taco shell and then put them on a cookie sheet with parchment paper and sprinkled cheese on top of it. So when she put them in the oven, all of the cheese like melted around the shell. So when you pick it up, there's this hard cheese around it that, so good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And when I made my grocery order last night to pick up on the way home, I added everything and they didn't have rotisserie chicken. So I didn't get to make it last night, but that's definitely going on my to make list. She's always got some good.
Definitely need to share that recipe in the group so that I can
I'll make myself a note.
I want that right now.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
I've done that with Teens in the Word with the hard taco shells, but just with regular ground beef filling, and top them all with cheese so that we can melt the cheese all at one time, and that's good.
Yeah.
But
yeah, these were good.
That sounds way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've had a fluorescent light in our laundry room, which I absolutely detest. I just cannot stand fluorescent lighting. And it's there. It's in our walk-in closet in the bedroom, and it's in the basement. We have fluorescent lighting down there. So I think we've talked about this on here before, but Neil is always leaving that laundry room light on. Sorry. And so I'm always coming behind him and turning it off. Like in broad daylight, he turns that light on. I don't know why. But anyway, this week he replaced it. He took,
nice.
And it's where everybody comes in the house. Nobody comes in the front door. Everybody comes through our laundry room. So that's like the first thing people see. So he took down that fluorescent lighting, put up a new light. It's so much better. And it's, it's a warmer lighting.
Makes a huge difference.
And I've gotten so used to now avoiding that light. I never turn it on. I put a lamp in there that I could turn on just to avoid turning on the overhead light, that I forget that I have it. So now I'm thinking, oh, I can turn this light on and it's pretty.
It's okay to turn this light on.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Where did you get the light fixture?
I ordered it online. We looked at a few places in town, but I just didn't really see anything that I liked. So I found something online.
Good.
And it had to be pretty short because we have cabinets in there that open up right where the light fixture would go. So it needed to be narrow enough to where it wouldn't hit that. The cabinet wouldn't hit it. So that limited what we could get. But.
Yeah. Well, we were talking on our way home. You have 14 hours to talk. So we were talking about, I packed up all my things in my office at Bear Valley to bring home, and I didn't realize how much stuff I had in there. And I even had to leave some of it there that I'll get next time when we come back. But I told John I would like to turn one of the back bedrooms, one of the boys' bedrooms, into an office, or, office/sewing room for me. And so we were just talking about how we could accomplish that. And I wanted to keep a bed, like a Murphy bed, because only once a year, maybe twice a year, do we have everyone home where we need all of the rooms for beds. Yeah. So it's not, it feels like, why are we not taking advantage of that space that we have to use every day instead of saving it for once a year? Sorry to whichever one of my boys. Yeah. But so I was thinking that I would have like an office sewing room back there. And John said, what if you took the office/game room that we have, and you know what I'm talking about, the one outside, just outside the kitchen, that he uses for an office, and he would go in the back because then he would have a little bit more quiet. Because when he's in there, a lot of times I have the TV on in here, or I'm cooking, or I'm talking, or I'm listening to music, whatever. So I'm excited about that because I'll have lots of room.
That's a way bigger space.
It is way bigger. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's our garage that used to be, it was first a garage, then a game room. Now it's an office, and now we'll do something again to change it so I can leave my sewing machine out, which I never get to do. And, it probably will get a little messy in there, but I think sometimes he gets a little frustrated with me because I spread out on the kitchen table here, but I don't have anywhere else to put it because all of those are bedrooms back there. So I'm excited that I'm going to have a space.
Isn't it so fun to repurpose space or come up with a new project like that?
It is.
Yay. Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it when you get it all done. Well, I told Neil the other day, I said, I have a little project I want to run by you.
The words they dread, a little project.
I know. I could see that look on his face like, oh.
Deer in the headlights.
It's really not a big one. It doesn't involve taking down walls or anything like that. But my pantry in the kitchen is ridiculous. I cannot keep it organized.
I'm trying to remember where it even is.
When you first walk into the kitchen, it's just this little double door thing.
Across from the fridge?
On the left. Yes, across from the fridge. And it's got some shelves in there, but I've tried like bins to organize everything. It just will not stay organized, and we never have enough room for everything. And so I saw this video the other day, a Farmhouse on Boone, where she turned her basement she was calling it a grocery store. And she got those kind of like heavy duty steel shelving units from Sam's, several of those. And so that's where and she set down like a little rug to make the area pretty. And so she took all of their stuff out of her pantry, except for things that she uses on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And just organized it down there. And I'm talking about, I mean, we could we always have extra paper towels and napkins and things like that stored somewhere else in the house.
Have it all in one place.
Yes. And we have extra canning jars in a different room and extra, I mean, just stuff all over the place. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, that is the solution, because we have a wonderful finished out basement. We hardly ever use it except for working out.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, there's an extra bedroom down there, which we only use when everybody's here, you know, or Neil's parents are here, because they'll stay in our room and we'll go down there. But there's a great big pool table when you first walk down to the basement in the biggest space. And we never use it.
The pool table?
Yeah. When we first looked at the house, we loved it. It's a really nice one. And so we asked for it to convey with the house. Little did we know they were probably hoping we would do that anyway.
Yeah.
But when we first moved here, we used it all the time. And now we never, ever, ever use it. I mean, the kids never use it. When people come over, we never use it, you know?
Yeah. Because you have to go downstairs.
Yeah. And so it's just taking up space. So now I want to get rid of the pool table and just put up those shelving units and maybe some plants and a rug and just have everything neatly organized and just what we use on the regular in the pantry and the kitchen. And that would just make my everyday quality of life so much better.
That sounds really good. I wonder, the next project, Neil, you need to do is having a dumbwaiter from the basement to the kitchen.
So she's just although I do need the steps. It will force me to get those steps in, and you know, so
it'll probably take a little while for you to figure out what things you want to leave down there and what things you need on hand in the kitchen. But yeah, it sounds like a great solution.
I always get bread flour in a great big bag, and I keep a little bit in the pantry up here and the rest of it in the basement anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, so there's things like that we always buy the great big multi-packs of San Pellegrino, and that takes up a lot of space in the closet here. And so I'm excited about that.
So is that gonna happen soon?
I hope so. The biggest challenge for us is going to be getting rid of that pool table, because I'm hoping we can sell it. I looked that up. Do people actually buy used pool tables?
Sure.
And you
Facebook
pretty
Marketplace?
Yes, you pretty much have to get a professional to dismantle it and move it. So,
well, good luck with that. That sounds good. We have a piano out here that was my grandmother's, that Mom got when my grandmother moved from her house. And it used to be an old player piano, which was fun.
Yeah.
So there's I think it was my grandmother's. I'm not sure, 100% sure, but it was at my mom and dad's house. So where you set the music up, there's an inset of wood that used to be open where you could see the player running, but it's so out of tune. It's really turns into something that the grandkids just go pound on when they're here. And Lacey Summers used to play the piano when she'd come here. So I don't know if we're going to keep that, because it just takes up a whole lot of room and we don't use it for anything. But again, that's one of those things you may have to have professionally moved. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know how long
I wanted to show you something,
go ahead.
Let me show you. Lynn Height made this.
What is it?
Because it's
a laptop
Hemingway
holder?
pouch.
Oh.
It's for my iPad, but it unzips, and so it's like this pocket that you could carry a notebook or paper, but it's size for my iPad. She heard me say that I was going to experiment with this pattern because I liked it, and so she, for my birthday, brought me this, and I didn't even bring in the tote bag she made. Gift giving is her love language for sure. But she made all these little things, and it's just a little tiny Hemingway pouch, and I kept snacks in it during our trip. But I just love them. I just think they're so fun. And I'm going to make some of them when I get my, she's so generous and sweet. Always making things for people. So just wanted to show you that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. trying to see if there's anything else before we get into our non-topic.
Non-topic.
Do you have anything else?
Well, I had a couple of things, but they're not anything. We probably, since it's been 30 minutes, we probably should move on, huh?
Okay, so we're just going to do always, sometimes, never. So when you think about, and to clear it up from the get-go, these aren't like important things at all. So we're not talking about things that we hope is a given with everybody, that we all always try to read our Bibles and pray. It's not that kind of stuff. Just every day in our lives. If you want to know more about what that looks like, here are some things that we always do, some things that we sometimes do, some things that we never do. So that's what I thought we would do. But I wanted to start out by asking you, Carla, some questions.
Oh boy.
Okay. These aren't hard.
This makes me sweaty.
Oh, a couple of them might be hard.
Oh,
most
great.
most of them aren't. So you just say, you don't even have to clarify. You just say always, sometimes, or never. Okay.
Okay.
How
Sounds
often?
Simple.
How often do you pull pranks on others?
Sometimes.
I know that about you.
I used to have a Burger King mask, those big full head Burger King mask, along with a dummy mannequin. And we had a young friend, Luke Stone, who hated that thing. And I had so much fun. Every time he came over, I would put the Burger King mask on the dummy and just set it somewhere in the house and wait for him to find it. It was great. Yeah. So I'm that kind of person.
I know.
Not always, but
I think of Tyler King.
Yeah.
And he had just said something about that not too long ago. Was it the Barney the dinosaur or something that he was afraid of?
Yeah.
And so I think it was your idea. I think it was your idea to put that thing on his motorcycle.
What you were talking about.
Okay. How often do you listen to music?
Always.
How often do you go to the movies?
Sometimes. More often lately with The Chosen being in theaters. Yeah.
Was that the last one you saw?
Mm-hmm.
What was the last one you saw for that?
Chosen Part 2. Chosen Part 1.
Oh.
Before that, maybe the Indiana Jones movie, the new one. Yeah.
All right.
Do you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I would have said never, except that all those big blockbuster type movies came out not too long ago, and we went and saw all of them.
Yeah.
So, how often do you engage in a hobby?
I would say sometimes, but there's always a but, right? Less often than I want to, but hoping that I'll be able to more. I'm really hoping that sewing I can pull, since I can leave it out, that will be something that I would do. Unless you consider reading a hobby, and that, if it is, then always, because I read all the time. So
okay.
What about you?
Sometimes, yeah. I feel like sometimes my whole life is a hobby, though.
Well, if you think about peaches and cooking, because those are two of the things you enjoy doing, and gardening
and baking and all that kind of stuff are hobbyish kind of things.
Yeah. But
and like you, I read every night in bed before I go to sleep for a few minutes. So
yeah. So until you're
exactly. Okay. How often do you hide snacks?
Is John listening? I would say there's always something hidden. I don't know, hidden's the right word. There's always something that's a little harder to find.
That's right.
Yes, I can think of two different things right now that are hidden. Hope he didn't listen to this.
That's well, you don't have to say where.
Yeah.
Does he know that about you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then it doesn't matter.
In fact, well, there were some M&Ms. I can't remember how it came up, but he found out. I think I gave him some, and he said, "Where'd you get these?" And I said, "I just have some." He said, "Where?" I said, "I have them," because he is a snacker. I mean, he would eat them all day long till they're gone. I can keep a whole thing, one of those tubs of M&Ms. I could keep it for a year. And I could eat maybe 1 or 2 or 3 a day and I'd be happy, but he would eat them until they were gone in less than a week. So it's for his own good.
There you go, being thoughtful.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
You're a thoughtful wife. Neil and I are very compatible.
Yeah. Do you hide things?
No, I don't have to. We do not like the same snacks at all. Okay. We have completely different snack attacks. And even when it comes to a box of chocolates, the ones that I like, in the box of chocolates, he doesn't like, and the ones that he likes, I don't like. So
it's convenient.
It's very convenient. Okay. How often do you work from bed?
I would say it would be somewhere between never and sometimes. Just because that's not what I'll read, and that's about all. Read in bed. So no, I don't ever carry my computer in there. Do you?
Well, first thing in the morning when we have our coffee, we're sitting on the bed and I'll have my laptop open. So sometimes I'm answering messages and things like that.
Yeah. No, I get up.
But typically I come in the dining room or set everything up in there. Okay. How often do you dance around the house?
That is definite never. I have zero rhythm. I know you do because I've heard you say. I've never seen you do it. I would kind of like to see how that goes, but
I have zero rhythm.
No, I have zero.
I have zero rhythm also. Just ask Dale because he loves to point that out. And the last one, this one might be kind of hard. You ready? Okay. How often do you feel like people know the real you?
I guess sometimes would be probably better than, and I mean, it's not always or never. So sometimes there are a few that know the really stupid me and the really goofy or embarrassing or whatever. So sometimes, I don't know. What do you think? What about you?
I would say the same answer, but I feel like you gave the wrong answer.
Really? Well, I think I know where you're going with that. Like I'm pretty open with things, but is that what you mean? Like I'm pretty open, but that's not necessarily all of me though,
Yeah. But it's the real you. I feel like you're somebody that's what you see is what you get. Like you're the real deal, very genuine.
I guess I'm thinking more of like the inside thoughts and the things that I'm not going to tell just everybody. There's probably few, count on one hand the number of people I would tell some of those things to. So
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, sometimes few people.
Yeah. I'm not super guarded.
I'm not really guarded, but I'm also not. I think it takes longer for me to get close to people.
Yeah.
I have more superficial friends.
Yeah. Well, because it's hard. It takes time to get to that non-superficial friendship.
Yeah.
And you don't always have that amount of time.
Yeah. Okay. Good job. You passed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
I didn't know I was going to be graded.
This is not, maybe you should talk for a while because I got a frog right now.
Unprepared. Okay. Do you go to bed every night with dishes in your sink? How often do you go to bed with dishes in your sink?
I never do that.
Okay. You always do the dishes?
I always do the dishes. I never have dishes in the sink. We always run the dishwasher before we go to bed and unload it in the morning.
Okay. Well, I'd say that I used to be that way. I used to not be able to stand leaving dishes in the sink. But I think one thing that changed when I had this farmhouse sink, and it's not really a true farmhouse sink, but the one big opening instead of 2 sinks, I can put a whole ton of stuff down in there that you can't see. Like I'm looking at it right now and I know there's dirty dishes in there, but you can't see them. So yeah. Let's see, what else can I ask you? How often do you mow the yard?
Me? Never.
That'd be a never?
That would be a never. Yeah, Neil, we have a zero turn. And I got on it when we first got it, I got on it for like a nanosecond. And then last summer, I did just a few strips, because Neil was just showing me how to do it. And I kind of in my mind thought that was kind of fun. I should mow more often. And then I never did.
Yeah.
That's Neil's job.
Yeah. I probably do. I do the easy stuff, like the flat areas. And John is the one that goes in and around the trees and stuff and the rocks, because we have a ton of rocks. So mine would be a sometimes.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a chicken. We have a lot of trees, and I always think about things dropping down on me.
I do think about
Spiders,
the hornet's
ticks,
nests that are in the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's funny when I'm mowing, sometimes I find myself doing this, like I'm driving, like that's really going to help to hunch down. If I see something flying at me, I am not, how do I say this? I'm scared of things that fly at me. If they have stingers, I'm very scared of them. I will make a fool out of myself getting out of its way. So I've surprised myself being outside as much as I have the last couple of years.
Yeah. We have a ton. And unfortunately, they're right by the entryway where everybody comes in. Yeah. We have those carpenter bees and wasps and just all kinds of things flying. They have never once bothered us, so it doesn't bother me at all. But I don't ever think about it.
That's my theory.
But yeah, somebody afraid of flying, stinging things might have a problem with that.
Yes, and that's me.
How often do you make the bed?
Every day. Me always.
Too? Yeah, that's an always for me too.
And we've already everybody, it was funny. Someone recently, when we were at their house, and I won't say who it was, but she went and closed the door. She said, because I haven't made my bed today. I'm like, she said, I make it every day except Saturday. And I thought, that's just whatever you're comfortable with.
Saturday, huh?
Yeah, I guess that's the day they relax and just she doesn't worry about it. But I just like getting back into a nice bed, like smooth sheets and all that. And a lot of people say, why would you do that if you're just going to get right back in it? But I just like it. And our room is right off of the living room, so you can see it. So
yeah, ours is on the main floor too. So, but that's not why I always have. But it makes me sound like a really neat and tidy person, but I'm not.
Oh, you are. Yes, you are.
There are other things that I never do.
Like
cleaning my baseboards, dusting the ceiling fans, which I don't ever think about until we have company.
Just turn the fan on and nobody
That's what I do. That's what I do. I don't think about it until we have company. And then I'm like, oh, let me turn that on real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. The baseboards. Yeah. And the light switch covers. That's something I never think about it, but they're always dirty.
Yes. Yes. You know who's really good about that? Cheryl Turner.
Yeah.
She doesn't just clean her baseboards, she paints them on the regular, because she's like, just having them that bright white freshens up the space, and it does. It always looks amazing. But I'm like,
that's painting. I don't do painting.
That's right. How often do you work out?
Define workout.
Get some movement in of some sort.
I try almost every day. And I would not say workout like purposely do a video but I'm conscious because I wear the watch that tells me my steps. So I'm conscious of it. And I try to get over a certain number of steps. Not that I'm going to get out of bed. If I get, look down, I'm not there. I'm not going to get out and do it, but I'm conscious of it. So maybe sometimes is a better answer. Bet you.
I think I'm a sometimes too. I'm in a jag right now where I'm a lot better about it. Since I'm doing the strength training with Neil.
Yeah.
And what I've discovered for myself is if I get up and put my tennis shoes on. So in the winter, I typically wear fuzzy socks and slippers around the house all day long. And in the summer, I wear flip-flops all day long around the house. Yeah. But if I get up first thing in the morning and put my tennis shoes on, and leave them on all day, I get way more steps in. And, I'm more likely to run them down the stairs or run down the basement or run laps or get my workout in so I don't know what it is about it, but it's just a psychological thing. If I keep
it's more comfortable too.
Yeah.
At least mine are. My feet hurt if I don't put them on. Okay.
All right. Do you ever go to bed with makeup on?
No, I would say I always wash my face before bed. Maybe occasionally, like once a year, maybe. but even that I would say is a stretch. I don't know. I'm very routine in my nighttime thing. What I do at night is it's going to happen, or I can't go to sleep. I'm just weird like that. Do you?
I'm the exact same way. I don't ever, ever, ever go to bed with makeup on. I don't care how late I get home.
Yeah. I can't stand the feeling of the caked mascara.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wash my face. And the only time I haven't is on an overseas flight.
Yeah.
And even then I used to go to the bathroom and wash my face. And then it just got to where I thought I'm keeping somebody from coming into the bathroom. So sometimes I pack those like makeup wipes.
Yeah.
And I'll just in the seat, wash my face or whatever. But yeah. Some people do go to bed with their makeup on though.
Yeah, I know they do, but I can't do it. I'm just weird. There's certain things that I feel like if I don't do them, even like if I go to bed without going to the bathroom first, I can't go to sleep until I get up and do that, because I think I'm going to have to get up in an hour. Even I'm going to have to get up in an hour anyway, but I'm a creature of habit when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always put moisturizer on my feet at night when I get in bed. There's some things like I do my ablutions in the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, all those kinds of things. And then when I get on the bed on my nightstand, I've got like this overnight lip balm kind of a thing. And then I usually have some kind of body butter that I put on my feet. And I keep a little hair mask by there so that like once every couple of weeks, I'll just put a little hair mask on the ends of my hair, just things like that I do every single night. And I feel like now it's gotten to the point where if I don't, it's almost like I can't sleep. I can't get comfortable if I don't do that. So
yeah, it's like a niggling little thing in your head. You're going, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Do you ever sleep in?
We did this morning. We were at bed until 8, which is, I can't remember the last. I know, but when you're normally like 5:30 or 6, it was heavenly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was the first night back in our own bed after 3 months. So that was one thing. And yesterday was just a booger of a day with trying to get all the stuff in and it rained as soon as we got into dripping. That we were racing a thunderstorm, and we pulled in and we had like 20 minutes before it just dropped out. The bottom dropped out. So, it was a rough day, not a rough day. It was just a physical day. And so we were both really tired. So anyway, it felt good to not have to get up for anything, not have to be anywhere. So
those are the most glorious mornings, as if you can ever not set the alarm and just wake up naturally.
Yeah.
What a luxury.
If you can get your internal alarm to stay off.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Right. No, we never get to sleep in because we have Peaches.
Yeah.
I will say, every now and then, Neil will get up a little earlier and slip out. And so that by the time he brings me my coffee, he has let me sleep in a little bit and has already gone out there and taken care of Peaches.
Yeah. What a guy.
Oh, yeah. Those are amazing. Do you eat an early breakfast?
I usually have as soon as I get up, I make coffee, and that's kind of breakfast until maybe 9 o'clock. And then I'll eat an egg or whatever my usual breakfast du jour is. What do you do?
Coffee first thing in the morning, coffee before speaky, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I typically don't eat real food until about 10:30 or 11.
Yeah. Yeah. That's mine's maybe not that late, but I wait. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So those are kind of daily routine kind of things. So now think about some weekly routine kind of things. Do you take Sunday afternoon naps?
No. I mean, I would say it would be just a notch above never, because there's just things going on. And if I can just do like a 10-minute thing, then I would, but then I usually would fall asleep harder. And then the rest of the day is shot and I can't sleep that night. So no. Do you?
Mine's between sometimes and always. So if there's like a most times, that would be my answer, because
we need never, rarely, sometimes, most of the time, and always.
Time, whenever I feel like it. Yeah. And it used to be when I was younger that I could not take one of those power naps. Neil always could, where he would just fall out for 10 minutes and wake up, oh, good to go. And I never could do that. And if I ever finally went to sleep, I'd have to sleep for like an hour, which isn't good. But in the last few years, I have no problem at all taking a power nap. And some Sunday afternoons, after lunch, I'll ask him to turn on a football game or whatever. Now it's March Madness or whatever basketball game. It's like Pavlov for me, just that kind of
the noise,
sporty background noise. And I am out in no time at all. And
you don't have a hard time waking up?
No, we usually get up and have a cup of coffee. Now, last Sunday, we didn't get a nap in. So it doesn't happen every week, but when it does, it's just kind of nice. It's like a little downtime.
I just feel awful groggy if I do.
Yeah.
It's me.
So I don't really know how to ask this one as a question. So I'll just say I always look forward to Mondays because it's kind of a reset day for me.
Yeah.
After the weekend, it's like a fresh start every time. And we always run errands on Friday. So those are the other two like weekly day things that we always do. Do you have anything like that? Like a weekly day thing that you always do?
We don't have anything routine. You always think about how they say one of the Alzheimer's preventions is to not have the same routine all the time. And I think I've got that one covered because we never have the same routine.
Yeah.
No, there's no routine to our routine. I think I do look forward to Mondays. I think it's because we used to, when the boys were young, that was the day that John would take off. And I really had to push hard for that. I told him, he works 24/7. When you do ministry, you're 24/7. But he was working all day, every day, including Saturday and Sunday. So used to, when the boys were little, we took Mondays off and we would go into Austin and have lunch together. We might go to a Goodwill or a bookstore or whatever. So I think I look forward to Mondays still because it reminds me of what we used to do. And we're together all the time now. So it's not quite the same, but yeah. I know I've heard you say you look forward to Monday reset day.
Yeah. Good. I thought of something to say when you were in the middle of all that talking. It's left me.
Taking off a day. Was it something to do with that?
No, it was before that.
Train left the station.
Yeah, it did. I know what it was. Y'all are probably going to live longer because you don't have those routines. Variety is the spice of life. So you have a really spicy life. You have a really spicy life.
Maybe so.
One of them that I just thought about that I never thought about before, how you're supposed to break up things you do habitually. We've mentioned this on here before. Like if you shave your left leg first, typically.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, shave your right leg when you're getting dressed. If you typically put your left leg in the pants first, intentionally put your right. Well, about brushing your teeth. I hadn't thought about that one. I always brush my teeth with my right hand.
Yeah.
And so the other night I tried to brush my teeth with my left hand. It was so hard.
Yeah.
It felt so awkward. And when I finished up, I gave it a real good zhuzh with my right hand because I felt like I didn't do a good enough job. So.
Well, I think about you. This is funny that you brought that up because I always think about you shaving my legs because you brought that up in a class one time. You said, you were talking about this very thing, and you said, if you normally shave your right leg first, shave the left. So I did one time. I shaved the left leg and then I forgot to shave the right leg. Oh. I don't do that anymore. The whole next day I was like, "Oh, what is wrong?" It's a bad thing to forget.
It's fun when somebody says they always think about you when they're shaving in the shower or some other. I was thinking about that with my sister. I always think about her when I'm doing laundry.
Yeah.
And the other day I was thinking she'd probably be surprised if she knew I always think about her when I'm doing
Why do you think about her when you're doing laundry?
Well, I was talking about the fact that we had to switch from powdered detergent to liquid detergent because of our septic. And I heard that powdered detergent isn't as good. So, but I've always hated liquid detergent because it just feels messy to me. It's always, like drippy and the cap gets
sticky.
Drippy. And she said, well, I just always throw the cap in the wash with my clothes.
Yeah. I do that
and I was like, what? I'd never heard of that. I never thought about that. And I've done that every single time since then. And every single time I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, it's genius. I don't know why all these years I never did that.
The only problem is that when you throw it in the dryer too, and then it's the whole time.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kitchen. Oh, I see John. Hey, John.
What's he doing?
I don't know. Let's wave to him. Hey, John.
Everybody
Hey, he's
wave to
looking this
John.
way. He's looking.
He's
He's coming
wondering,
this
when's
way.
she going to be done? He's walking away. I can see him in the reflection in my computer.
There he
He's
goes
going to be
around the corner.
embarrassed.
Oh no, he's like, I think she's still doing on the computers.
I'm going to refrain from saying what I thought about
He's
saying.
like real, like, I'm just gonna walk away calmly.
Walk away slowly, yeah.
Walk away slowly. Okay, the kitchen, we've kind of already talked about some of those things with the dishes, but are there certain groceries that you always buy?
Aside from the usual like milk and eggs and things like that. Well, in Texas, I'm sad to say that I always buy that pimento cheese from HEB because it's so good. When I really need to stop buying it because it's bad.
Do you eat it with chips or on a sandwich?
Pretzels. Pretzels are my downfall. I could be skinny if it weren't for pretzels.
Dots pretzels?
Any pretzel. Well, no, because that has flavor. Just pretzel crisps or whatever, non-flavored, because I don't need flavor mixed with the pimento cheese. I always buy salsa of some sort. I like Julio's. I don't know if they even make that other states, if that's a Texas thing. I think it's from San Antonio. I always buy lemons. It's not necessarily a staple, but I do. What do you buy?
Lemons is on my list. Well, any kind of citrus, really. I keep lemons and limes. Olive oil, fresh herbs. We've gotten into a jag here recently where we have fish tacos quite a lot. So whatever I need to do fish tacos.
Do you use what kind of fish do you use for that?
Well, there is a Sam's product in the freezer section.
Yeah. You brought this up.
It's like a cod. What is it called?
It's already battered.
Beer battered cod or something like that. That is so good. And recently we tried something different and they had like a grilled mahi mahi kind of a thing that I tried, and it was not good.
Yeah.
At all. It was kind of dry and very disappointing. So we're going to go back to what we've been using, but we buy canned salmon on the regular, a particular brand that we were like jasmine rice.
Yeah.
San Pellegrino.
Have you started buying, do you just buy regular rice or do you buy the already ready rice and the kind that you can heat up? Have you ever tried that?
I did. I tried. They had some on sale at Kroger, those little pouches of the already heated up rice. So I bought a few of those, but typically even when I have those, I still cook it for some reason. I don't know why, but we love jasmine rice and the way it smells. And
I love the packs of already. It's just such a lazy thing. And I don't do it all the time because it's more expensive, but I like those. It's so quick, easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And with like foods that we make on the regular, homemade pizza, fish tacos, we're doing a lot of rice bowls too. So when I was trying those pouches out, I was using it in our rice bowls.
What do you put in your rice bowls?
Sometimes we do smoked salmon and then like shredded carrots and sliced jalapenos in Neil's bowl. If I do a more like salmon patties with the canned salmon, we'll have rice, salmon patties, the garden green beans, and then I usually make like a sauce with sour cream and some kind of fresh citrus in it to drizzle over the top. And pretty much anything that you can put over rice, we're going to do. Yeah. I love a good rice bowl. So we do that a lot.
Yeah.
I buy Carnation Instant Breakfast, which I know is not good for you, but that's my Sunday morning breakfast.
Okay.
It's been that way for years. I drink it while I'm getting ready. I know. I drink it while I'm getting ready, and I just always have
protein.
Yeah. Now I add collagen powder to it for the extra protein, but anyway, things we never buy anymore are milk and eggs because we have those here, and bread. I don't buy that anymore, but
I don't buy it very often. John likes pumpernickel and I do not, but I don't use that much bread. In fact, I was eating a sandwich when we were talking before, and I don't do sandwiches very often, but I didn't have anything else in the house today. So all I had was peanut butter and a piece of bread that probably is from a loaf from early last week. That's kind of gross, but that's what I had. But see, priorities, because I did have fresh salsa that I had just gotten from the store. So
you're a Texas girl through and through.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's do marriage real quick and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. Do you guys go to bed together at the same time? How often do you go to bed together at the same time?
Sometimes. I'm a read at night and he's watch TV at night. He doesn't watch TV any other time of the day other than at night, and I don't watch any other time except in the morning. So we're kind of opposite there. But I think we try to, at least I'll try to stay up until he comes to bed. But no, we don't like make it a point to go to bed at the same time. Do y'all?
Yeah, we go to bed at the same time. It's more and more often I'm wanting to go to bed earlier than Neil. And I think it's because I'm not really getting good sleep anymore. Yeah. So I'm kind of feeling like if I get an earlier start, I'll have more snippets in that not so good sleep throughout the night. So sometimes I'm like, I get up and he's like, are you getting ready for bed already?
Like what time?
Well, typically it's about 10 o'clock when we start getting up and getting ready for bed. 10 or 10:30. And here recently, I'd be happier if we could do that around 9 or 9:30, just to give me plenty of time to read and go to sleep and try to get a little more sleep in. But anyway, we always go to bed at the same time. Do y'all have breakfast together?
We don't eat the same thing. He's making lots of noise in there. I have eggs and he has a bar of some sort. So we don't sit down to breakfast, no. But we're in the same room. So I guess we kind of do.
Yeah, I think that counts.
Y'all?
Sometimes. Sometimes. Neil's trying to accomplish a lot before he heads out the door. And he writes articles, he does his Bible study, he works out or runs on the treadmill, or I mean he's got a lot going on, and
he's got a full day before he even leaves for the day.
He really does, because he gets up early, but he's like hits the ground running. So so sometimes, pretty often I should say, to be fair, we'll have breakfast together, but it'll be something quick, most of the time. And then sometimes we just don't, and he just grabs something to take with him. But do you ever go to bed mad?
Yeah, sometimes. But this is something that we learned, and I know we've said this before on the podcast. I think if you can just say, because we've tried not to in years past, and we'd be up late, and we're both like falling asleep, not arguing, but just discussing. And finally we realized, I mean, this was huge in our marriage when we realized that we can just say, you know what, I love you. We're going to be okay. It's going to be better if we just wait, and things will feel better in the morning. Something about the light of day just makes things, you realize you were being ridiculous about something, or it's not important, or you're more clear-headed. So we have gotten to where we will agree. And this rarely happens anymore, but it used to happen a lot more often, just to say, okay, we're going to have to agree. As long as both of us are okay with it, then you're not letting the sun set on your anger. You're just agreeing to give yourself some time and some rest, because your body needs rest, and then you feel better about things in the morning. Do y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. It's just a fact of life.
And it's not Neil, it's me.
Yeah.
And it used to bother me a lot more, because that's the advice everybody gives you at all your showers. Don't ever go to bed mad. That's advice number one. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
And we've never been as good about it as you have. It was like saying, let's just shelve this for now and revisit it in the morning. I'm just like, sometimes I'm just ticked off, and he can always tell if I'm mad by my position when I'm reading.
Like
exactly. The shoulder. Like if you're looking out the window in the car, it's the same way. Sends a message. If I'm laying on my back and reading the book, things are fine. But if I've turned over this way and I'm reading my book,
yeah. Well, I have to say it is John that will say, let's wait until tomorrow. But I mean, he wouldn't do that until we kind of, at some point when we weren't mad, talked about it and just decided that this is not it's not unbiblical to just say we're going to wait and talk about it later. So that made me feel better.
Well, usually if something like that happens, there's nothing important anyway. I mean,
Right.
he brings me my coffee the next morning and we just act like nothing ever happened, because it's not most of the time, I should say.
Yeah.
It's just something dumb. Right. It's not like an issue that needs to be addressed, so.
Sometimes when we do that, if we don't address it, then it only adds to the next one. So sometimes we have to figure out, do we really need to talk about this and get it behind us, or is it worth just letting it go and not? And I've gotten better about letting things go. I used to be terrible about that. So anyway.
It used to be that I'd be, fuming over there. And then, I hear.
And that makes you fume some more.
He doesn't even care. He's just going off to sleep.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds familiar.
Oh, okay. Here's a never for us. We never eat dinner at the table.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, when you have your family over, you do.
Yeah, I'm just saying when it's just us. If it's just the two of us. I mean, occasionally I'll take our place to the table and we'll sit there and talk or whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in front of the TV. Yeah. Every once in the blue moon, I'll even light a couple candles and make it feel like a dinner,
Yeah.
But most of the time, we just both like to get really comfortable, and I'll fix our plates and carry them in there, and our comfy chairs are situated right next to each other. I'll kick my shoes off and put my knees up under me, and we'll either watch something or we'll just talk, but it's in the living room, not at the table. And that's just another one of those things where you always say, have your food at the table and make it an experience like you're really, and I'm going, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think when you have a young family,
yes,
you do need to do that.
Yeah, we did that with our children. We ate at the table and we were all together. But I'm just saying now, we just never do. So
yeah. John will sit over and watch TV or the news or whatever, and I sit at the table a lot with my book and read. That's just what I like to do. So, and we're together enough that I don't feel bad about that. I mean, we communicate enough. I'm not worried about it. But for all of you listening who have children at home, you do need to sit down to dinner together as much as possible.
Don't be like us.
Yeah, we're just old married people.
All right. How often do you guys go on a date?
Always, date?
Sometimes, never.
Sometimes.
There he is.
He'll say, there he goes. He's probably thinking, when are they going to stop talking? Can read his mind, read his body language. Yeah. Sometimes he'll just say, I'm going to take you out tonight. So that's usually when he comes to the kitchen and I have nothing started for dinner. And I'm like, we're going to have tacos again. Let me take you out. I'd say date though, probably rarely, like where you get dressed up and go out on an intentional date. Probably not as much as we should. Do y'all?
Oh, no, we don't do that. For our anniversary.
Yeah. We'll anniversary.
Out. But sometimes we are, it's an often thing. Neil will say on Friday mornings, because that's his day off, let's go get breakfast. And we usually go to Panera and get a bagel. And so it doesn't happen every week because sometimes he's either not here or there's stuff going on. But when it does, we try and do that. And that's really fun. I enjoy that. But,
good.
Are there any more into the marriage thing that you want to hit?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't prepared. So no.
You weren't.
This is your week.
Those are my favorite kinds of conversations, though. I feel like you're putting that on me. Like if this spawned, this is all on you, girl. This was your week. Wow.
No, this was fun.
All right, let's go ahead and share our fun announcement. And I'm going to let you do it because it was your idea.
What? Well, but it was your idea to tell it.
But the announcement itself, the project itself was your idea. So you get to share it.
Oh, I don't know if I'm prepared for this. Well, so Kathy and I, for those of you listening, have talked about putting together a cookbook / I don't know what other word would you say besides cookbook, because we talked about doing other things in it, having projects in it, just a fun kind of mostly like 90% cookbook, 10% tips, projects, maybe some craft ideas.
And things.
Yeah. I'm picturing cookbook, apostrophe in things. But we're in the planning stages of putting this together with our favorite recipes. And we want it to be something that's really quality put together with, color photos and photos of our recipes as we create them or as we make them. And so that's the intent. We're hoping to do this, get started on it before too long. Don't have any idea how long it'll take. We don't have a name for it. I don't know. What else would you say about it?
I think you covered it. It'd just be looking up cookbook. So some of the things that we share in there will be recipes or memories or things that we've talked about here on the podcast. And when you shared that idea with me, I got really excited about it. I thought that would be very fun. Very fun.
Do you think that was my idea or yours? Because, well, it was sort of both, because when in that book that you gave me for Christmas, it said, one of the pages said something we should do together is, and you put we should write together. And so then I started thinking, do you remember that?
I do, but I think the cookbook thing was yours.
Yeah.
It seems like I remember you saying we should do a cookbook.
Yeah, well, it was kind of along those lines of writing together. So, because we could also put some other things in there that we might want to write about, not articles necessarily, but just family tips and things like that. So we're excited about it, and we're just kind of in the mulling over planning. I mean, I've set recipes aside, and you have too, and taking some pictures and things. So we would love to hear what you all think about that idea. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I can't imagine anybody, unless they were trying to hurt our feelings, which no one does, saying, no way, don't do that. But we would love to hear what you all think about it.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. We'll give you heads up as we make progress and let you know when it'll be ready. And I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. We're going to have to put our nose to the grindstone.
And that is our combined something good for you, because neither one of us really came up with anything.
We didn't really need to tell everybody that, did we?
Well, yeah. I told you, but I had something lined up that I ended up changing my mind.
Yeah. Next week we'll return to your regular schedule.
Something good for you. Let's let our little announcement be.
Yeah.
Something good for you.
Yeah. And next week I will not sit in this creaky chair.
I noticed it until you just now said something about it.
Now you can hear it, right?
Now I can hear it.
Okay. I've been noticing it the whole time.
Well, I think that was fun. I enjoyed learning some more about you, just when you think you know somebody.
Did I pass your test?
Actually, I don't think any of your answers surprised me.
Yeah, none of yours surprised me either.
Yeah. So I do know you.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Maybe next week we'll talk about something serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I get to choose next week.
That's so right.
Very serious.
But until then,
keep looking up.
Yes. And welcome back to Texas. Enjoy getting settled back in. And I'm glad you guys made it safe. I love you.
I love you too. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.